Hello, my goodness, it's been so long. So much to talk about. I think the most important things are we're still in Mercury retrograde. We will be until the 22nd, and then we'll have the shadow period for another about 2 weeks after that. We have the Sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, Moon in Cancer, Venus in Cancer. So I think, oh, and Mars just went into Leo. Where to begin? I think first and foremost, we have another about week and a half of this Gemini energy. And I think especially with Mercury retrograde, it's so important to focus inwardly. I've been going through such an intense inner thought process. That's why I haven't really done any videos for weeks throughout this time. And I think that's really what this is all about for all of us. Just like we talked about at the beginning of this transit. So it's so important to be going inwards, asking questions, seeking to understand ourselves, our thoughts, our thought processes, our minds, to be able to understand the coding and the programming and what's good and what's working out really well, and also what needs to be altered a little bit, what needs to be changed, what maybe we're overthinking, what maybe we're not thinking enough about. Ultimately, it's kind of like a system check for our minds. And so this is a really excellent thing, and it's so important as always during every transit, but especially with the retrograde. It's so important for us to not project onto other people. I think especially since we have Mars in Leo, and from personal experience, I'm born with Mars in Leo natally, and I've learned throughout my life with this energy that it's so important to really check your ego. Your ego is a wonderful thing for all of us. Um, for all of us, our ego is a wonderful thing, but it's so important to check it and to make sure that we're not projecting on other people. We're not stirring up drama, especially with Mars and Leo, to make sure that we're really taking responsibility for what we need to do to satisfy our ego, to express ourselves in whatever way feels right. And especially with this energy, creativity. We're all going to need to express ourselves creatively during this time. Um, and to each their own of how they do so, but that's something that's really important. Even if you don't find yourself to be a particularly creative, artistically oriented person, this is a really wonderful time for the next 6 weeks to focus on how you can express yourself a little bit more, maybe in how you dress, maybe going dancing or karaoke, doing something that you haven't done, maybe even ever. But in general, this is a wonderful time to try and to go for it. So a little bit more on the microcosmic for this weekend. For the vast majority of this weekend, we have Moon in Cancer, and this is really lovely, especially with Venus in Cancer. It's important to connect with your loved ones, your family, especially the females in your family. This is a really important time to connect with them and enjoy it. It's a wonderful gift. What else? There's always more stuff, but I think just to keep this focus, I think the last thing is we have Venus in Cancer for about another maybe 10 days, something like that. And this energy is also focused on hey, stop being that. Sorry, dog patrol. Um, this energy, Venus in Cancer, is focused on loving family, being in connection with family, just like we were talking about. So that is a broader theme that's going on for the next 10 days. One last thing I want to focus on as per that is it's so important to not give in to feelings of like aching when it comes to love or romance. That transiting Venus in Cancer can be so romantic, and that's lovely, but especially with transiting Mars in Leo too, there can be the tendency to focus a little bit too much on romance and feel like, oh, this is what I need for stability in my life, or for this, that all is, it's lovely to have these feelings. It's a part of being human. It's nothing to turn away from as a whole, but it's really important to check it. I think especially with Mercury retrograde, it's so easy to project in any time, but especially with these kind of transits of I need love to be whole, or I need, getting into these kind of thought processes that are very emotionally like driven, and can even at the challenging shadow extreme of it be desperate. So I think that's the most important thing, is focus on your inner well-being emotionally and mentally, your closest loved ones, your family, your family and friends too, and seek to express yourself in a way that isn't necessarily reliant on another human being. It's a very romantic time, and if you find yourself expressing yourself in a healthy way, romantically beautiful, awesome. But it's really important to focus on again making sure that you're good and that your inner connection, or rather your closest heartfelt connections with your loved ones are good too. Yeah. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. And one last thing, have fun. With Mars and Leo, again, from personal experience, it's so important to have fun. And you can express yourself creatively and have fun in the same way so often, especially with this kind of energy.